Welcome to the Cork Bic 2020 Entrepreneur Experience. So what I'm going to share with you this morning is, I suppose, the three main learnings that I had from starting Cully Sully. And I suppose I had these over time, and they're kind of things, I suppose, the learnings with hindsight, that, you know, what made us successful and what got our business to where we got it to before we sold it to Hain Celestial. So the three things, and I'll talk about them obviously over the next 15 minutes, are brand, the importance of brand is the first one. The second one is the marketing mix, something that we all learned in college, or you're reading textbooks and something, and it seems very obvious, but it's so important to get each one of the 4 Ps, the product, the price, the promotion, the placement of your product, absolutely 100% correct, not 99% correct, but 100% correct for a product to really fly. And then the third thing, which I talk about, is passion or energy, and the amount of energy and passion that's required to get a business to be successful and to grow. So the first thing is brand. So when we started our business back in 2004, we didn't know what brand was. As far as we were concerned, we were going selling shepherd's pies and fish pies. We were going to sell a load of shepherd's pies and fish pies, and that's how we were going to make our money. We were going to make, 30, 40 pence or cent per pie, and that's how it was going to be. When we sold our business in April 2012 to an American company, what they bought brand. The only asset in our balance sheet at the time was an intangible asset, which was brand. We didn't have a factory, we didn't have offices, any of the computers and so on we had were depreciated to pretty much zero, and they bought a business that just had a brand. And they bought many businesses that just have brands. And one of the things, and I've been involved in a couple of different things that they've done, and they've bought brands. The power of brand is so important, the value of brand. And when Colin and I were starting off the business, I had a meeting. I was working in Musgrave, and I had a meeting with a guy called James Holohan, who was one of the directors in the business. And he said, "Listen, Sully, tell me what you're going to go and do." And I said, "Well, we're going to go make shepherd's pies, fish pies. Cully comes from Ballymaloose. We have that angle, and we're going to sell loads of them." I started telling him all about the business. And he said, "Sully, you're not creating a business that's going to sell lots of pies and stuff. You're creating a brand." And I thought, that's kind of a bit of nonsense, kind of marketing speak. And he said, no, this is what it's all about. And I didn't really take what he said too seriously. We went off and we created the Cully Sully name, which turned out to be the brand, but in our head at the time, it was like, what's the name of your business? And the identity of the business, what the packaging looked like, but all those things were kind of quite functional in our heads at the time. And then we launched in September 2004, and we got a lot of feedback. We got an awful lot of media around it. And I remember one day being in a supermarket, Superquinn in Blackrock, doing a demonstration. And this elderly man was there, and he was listening to me kind of wax lyrical about Cully and Sully and what we were doing and so on. And he said to me, "You're going to be very successful." And I thought, "Oh, well, thank you very much." And I thought that he meant that we'd be successful because our shepherd's pie tasted the way it tasted, or our fish pie tasted the way it tasted. And he said, no. He said, "You're going to be successful because this kind of goes slightly into passion and brand, but you've got so much passion and energy behind what you're doing. And your branding is, so fantastic." And I kind of thought, "Oh, that's kind of interesting." And then a few months later, I think it was in February or March 2005, there was an article in one of the Sunday newspapers, and it was all about branding. And it had 3 brands. It was really cool, actually. It had one of my heroes, Bono, and it had Tater Crisps, and it had Cully and Sully, and it was us with our camper van. And it was all about the importance of brand. And it was then it kind of hit me. I was like, wow. So after that, we paid a lot of attention. Now, the branding for us was very natural. It was Cully and Sully, so it was 2 of us that very much reflected our personalities. It was about food, it was about trust. So, it was easy for us to do. But the importance of being true to your brand. For example, people, why could we have done cheap food? Well, our brand and what we are about, we couldn't have done that. Or, going off and doing, say, vegan. We're not vegans. It's not what we're about. We're very much, I suppose, Cully, particularly with the Ballymaloe background. So you have to be true to your brand. So the importance of brand, the importance of building your brand, and the importance of minding your brand. So many brands start out with really good reasons, really good values, and those values deteriorate over time. So that's the first thing, is brand. Pay attention to your brand. It's very, very valuable. Build your brand. It's your differentiator in the market. We've had so many people come after us in the Irish market. We're now the top selling branded soup in 3,000 Tesco stores in the UK. And that's, it's obviously the flavor of the product is very important, but the branding and the marketing around the product is also very, very important. The second area is marketing mix, and this has been an interesting thing for us. So and it's with hindsight that we learned this. So we launched a range of pies. They were in ceramic bowls, for those of you old enough to remember them, back in 2004. We made them in France. They were fantastic products, but they were too small for what we were charging. They were 300 grams, and we were charging $5.49 for them. People didn't have so much of an issue with the price, but what they did feel, or what people wouldn't tell us this, but you kind of eventually, it was there and you eventually figured it out. But they really wanted that pie to be 400 grams or 450 grams, but we couldn't get them to that size. We couldn't make the pricing work and so on. But we kept persevering, and it kind of goes back into the third one about passion and energy. We kept persevering with those products and trying to get them going. And we got them up to about 20,000 units, 25,000 units every month, which is giving us a business of about €1 million a year. And that kind of gave us, enough leeway, enough road room, whatever that expression is, to kind of keep going. And then 2 years later, one of the soup buyers, and again, this is kind of how often your first product isn't the product that makes you successful. It's often your second product, your third product. But you got to get your first product out there to get your second product out there. So one of the supermarket buyers said to us, guys, obviously they had a falling out with one of the main soup producers, which is probably Avonmore or as Organic Harvest, I don't know who it was. And they said, why don't you guys bring out a range of soups? And then a second retailer said to us, guys, would you bring out a range of soups? So we said, well, yeah, why not? We could bring out soup. We never had fresh soup before. So we went off, we tasted all the fresh soup that was here in Ireland, we tasted the soup that was in England, and we ended up bringing out a range of fresh soups, which is what we're kind of really well known for today. And suddenly that product, right, went from zero to, today we're selling a soup every 2.3 seconds or something. It's a phenomenal product. It's the biggest, we're 60% of the fresh soup Irish market. We've got a huge percentage now of the UK market. We sell in France, we sell in Belgium. And what is it about that product? Well, for me, the value relationship with the customer is it's 100%. When a person pays $2.59 for one of our soups, and they bring it home, or they bring it to the office or wherever they're going to consume it, and they eat it, at the end of it, they kind of go, well, hopefully they go, that was nice. I got value for money. I feel good. Yeah, I'll buy it again. Because for a product to be successful, it's very easy to sell a product once. It's easy to sell, not easy, but you can sell a product twice. But in retail, you got to sell it 2, 3, 4, 10, 15, 20, 30 times for that product to be successful. If you don't, your sales curve goes up, and then it just goes flat. And I remember somebody saying to me once, it was somebody who was giving out about our pies being too small. They said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that always stuck to me. So getting that relationship between price, between value, between product size, then obviously the product is wrapped in your packaging, so that's got to be unique. You've got your branding to tell your story. All of those things, all of those elements have to merge together perfectly, and that has to be perfect. If one of them is out, the product doesn't work. And you take the amount of people who came after us over the last couple of years, and the sheer number of food products and other products that have launched. And often one part of the marketing mix will be very, very good, will be 100%, and maybe two of them, but will all four parts of that marketing mix be perfect? The distribution, the place, where it is in the store. I mean, a very good example, if I have time, is I remember at the time when we were launching, there was a baby food product, and it was an organic, fresh food product. So as opposed to the stuff that sits in supermarket shelves, which is like 18 months old, and it's organic, but it's really old, which would you rather give your child. But then it didn't work because it was placed in the refrigerated part of the store, and mums and dads who have got young kids don't go to the refrigerated part of the store for their baby food. They go to the ambient, the grocery aisles of the store. The product didn't work. So getting that right is so important. The third thing then, which I've slightly touched on already, but is passion is energy. I remember thinking when we started our product again, our business, hugely naively, that once we get our finance, then we'll be fine. The product will just work. And then once we do this, it'll be fine. Then once we launch it, then we can kind of sit back and we can chill out, and it's just going to keep on selling, isn't it? And it doesn't. And you launch, and then it's like, well, what's next? And then the retailers are saying, well, we don't want this, we want that. So you got to keep going. And you never, ever, ever reach the top of the hill. It's extraordinary. You got to keep going. You got to keep the energy. There's constantly people on your back. In our game, there's retailers, there's customers, there's so many different distribution, manufacturing, so many different challenges the whole time. It is akin, getting a successful business, the amount of energy and passion that you put into it is akin, in my view, to doing an Olympic campaign. When it's not 9 to 5, you are thinking about it all the time. It's like having a child. It really is huge, and you have to do that. You have to be prepared to put that amount of energy into it. We were fortunate enough to be finalists in the Entrepreneur of the Year, the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year program. And you talk to any of the guys in that or girls, and the passion, the energy that goes into all of those businesses is absolutely huge. And that's often what will make you success. And I remember once when we launched our soups, I was thinking, the main incumbent in the market, I was thinking they're going to come after us. And somebody said to me, he said, they won't. They'll be 2 or 3 years after you. I said, no, they've got loads of money. They're all run by very clever, highly paid people. And he said, yeah, but they haven't got the energy that you guys, they haven't got the passion that you guys have. They're getting their salary and they don't really care. And it was so true. And I remember, 3 years later, they kind of changed their pack size. And then they changed the price thing and made a complete arse of it. But that energy that you have is what those guys don't have. And that energy and that passion is worth all those salaries and all those marketing budgets that they have. You can do the same thing. Journalists want to hear from you. They want to hear that energy from you. They don't want to meet the marketing director of some whatever food business where he's just paid a salary. They want to meet you guys. They want to hear your stories. So yeah. So going back, looking at our business from when we launched, I didn't know any of those things. I didn't appreciate those things. When we launched them. If there was a fourth thing I would say as a piece of advice, not necessarily learning, but is listening. I was a terrible listener. I probably still am a terrible listener. But listening to people with kind of grey hair, who've been around the blocks, and every single business is the exact same. Everyone thinks their business is unique to themselves, but it's not. Every business is the same, and everybody makes the same mistakes, and everybody goes on the same journey. So they're my little bits of wisdom, and hopefully they're of help to you. Thank you.